Vincent Van Gogh, people told him, you can't be a great painter, you only have one ear. You know what he said? I can't hear you.
Listening to Sippin' Sports, a Phillies sports talk morning show with Chris, KJ, and Dalt. Proudly powered by 302 Birds. Let's take it to the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Christmas special of Sippin' Sports. We got a lot. Well, I take that back. Not a lot on tap for you guys today. It's actually a pretty light show comparatively to what we do. And today, it's just Dalton and Chris. Giving you guys, of course, that pre-recording disclosure. We are filming this Friday, December 20th at 5:49 as the Phillies, and Dombrowski just said, they're done in free agency, Chris. I mean, let's just get into it. Fresh reactions.
About, 10 minutes ago, Bob Nightingale just said Dombrowski is not looking at any more free agents or any more high-profile free agents. And he said that Max Kepler is going to start in left field. This is like, this is bad. This is bad. Like, they went and just got absolutely destroyed by the Mets in the playoffs and got worse. Jeff Hoffman's gone. Estevez is gone. They brought in a 31-year-old Jordan Romano, who, he was really good 2 years ago. That was 2 years ago. Max Kepler, 32 years old, was really good 2 years ago. What the fuck are they doing? Like, this to me is just stupid. Like, this is insanity. You brought back the same exact team from last year, if not a little bit worse. I think it's going to be different. I'm not buying this at this point. I'm genuinely very upset at the Phillies and, not excited for the season at all. Now maybe this is just Dombrowski trying not to keep people excited or, but I don't understand how you just go into the season with the same team they had. I'm sorry, you're putting Max Kepler in left field instead of Austin Hayes, who Max Kepler is a left-handed Austin Hayes, in my opinion. It's stupid. I'm done with him. I'll let you go get your thoughts and you're amateur fan.
Daycare, don't care, dude. That's how I'm feeling. These guys haven't evolved to what we needed them to be. So I'm with you, Chris. I'm not excited for next year either. I know the amateur fan doesn't like baseball as a whole, but I was really riding the train. The 2022 team really got a lot of people into the Phillies and what they were building, the culture, everything. It was a great thing to be a part of, a great thing to be proud of, something to watch. And it just feels like the Phillies have kind of lost that mojo. They've lost that want. And if you look at the Philadelphia Phillies team, they're on paper, like Chris just said, besides left field, the same team since 2022. So look, you made some good trades in 2022 to get us into the World Series, to make that move. But since 2022, you really haven't done anything differently. Kepler, like Chris said, also was somebody that had a better career a little bit back. Now, I'm not saying that, as Dombrowski says, to play devil's advocate real quick. Well, it's all about bats clicking at the same time is his thing. That's a very lofty want or hope, Dave, hoping that all the bats on these older guys click at the same time, and the daycare, the daycare that can't play baseball right now. You're really hoping for a lot of things to go right, putting all your eggs in one basket for something that really hasn't gone right the past 2 years. It's only gone right 1 out of the past 3. And I get why fans are frustrated. I get why they're upset, because it's tentatively the same product since 2022. And guys, like food, teams do not get better with age. You need to continuously bring guys in and cut guys. Look at what the Eagles do. I mean, I know football is a lot different. You have way more guys on your roster, but in any sport, you need to bring new guys in every year and you need to cut guys every year. It's just the nature of the business. It's the nature of any sport. And the Phillies are not running a business right now. They're running a friendship organization.
Yeah, and I think more that like just ticks me off is they had that collapse at the end of the year in the playoffs. And you bring back Garrett Stubbs. Taijuan Walker's still on the roster. Like, what are we doing? Like, this need to shake up. And now we'll platoon Brandon Marsh and Johan Rojas in center field. That's going to work again. It really worked the last 2 years. And, we'll bring in Max Kepler, who has a career 143 batting average in the playoffs. Like, I don't get why he thinks this is going to work. All right, maybe you think that window's gone that they had. But at that point, then maybe you should trade away some of these guys like Schwarber, Castellanos. Like, go acquire some other talent, younger talent. If that's your problem, go get some prospects and try to rebuild that way. But at this point, it's like I'm just not bought into this team at all. I thought Max Kepler was a decent signing if he was going to be a bench bat. You look at him; he's an above-average outfielder. His bat's average. As a bench guy, that's great. But as a starter on, in this division, you got the best division in football and baseball. And, you got outfields with Soto in it in one place, Acuna in another. We have our best player in the outfield is Nick Castellanos, who is not great. He's good. He's a good player, but he's not Acuna. He's not Soto. Like, he's not Michael Harris. So I don't love this at all right now. I fuck him.
So I know KJ said if he had to go into Dombrowski's office, he would slap him until he was in the face red like the Phillies logo, which cracked me up. How do you feel about all this with Dombrowski? I mean, I know his job seems to be pretty safe. Everybody, it seems, is upset with him. Would you want him out of here next year? Would you keep him? Or, I mean, are you firing? If you're the owner of the Phillies, I would think it would be safe to assume you would fire him tomorrow, right? Or today.
I don't know if I'd fire him tomorrow, but it would be more like you got to fucking do something like now.
Yeah, like put him on notice, right?
Yeah, like because if they don't do anything this year, which I don't think they're going to, I think they got to get rid of him. If you look at his track record, like, he hasn't really done anything. Like, everybody's like, oh, he traded for Brandon Marsh. Yeah, but O'Hoppy's one of the best catchers in baseball right now. He's better than Real Muto, who you're paying a shit ton of money to. Okay, you went and signed Castellanos, Schwarber, and Turner. That's all you did, though. You signed them. You gave them money, and they came here. It's not like you made it a good trade to get them. I overlooked all his trades. He's like 4 for 15 on trades, and they're like all smaller trades that he's actually hit on. So it's like, I'm not there with Dombrowski right now, but it feels like whenever I doubt the Phillies is when all of a sudden they like come out of the shell and play well. So
yeah.
I also did say before, like, Juan Soto wasn't going to change his team. They got to hit at the right time. They were this close in 2022, this close. So maybe they hit well this year. I don't know, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be a lot closer of a division than it was last year. Like, the Mets will probably win the division this year, but I can still see the Phillies making the playoffs as a the third team in the division.
And
which is crazy to
sometimes what
say.
we've seen is that's almost an
It's a benefit.
advantage in the MLB right now, right?
Yeah. So who knows? Maybe I'm just like disappointed because I wanted to watch some different players. I think that's more of it is more like I'm not a Brandon Marsh fan. I haven't been a Brandon Marsh fan. I'm tired of watching Brandon Marsh. Like, and to me, like Bryson Stott, even though I love Bryson Stott, great person, he's not the baseball player we thought he was going to be. You know, you'll just look at the bullpen constantly gives up home runs in bad situations. You brought most of the same guys back. And the one good one you let go. So I'm just like, it's going to be interesting. But I think I'm just more disappointed than anything. But we'll see how they play when you're there. You know, they're still going to make the playoffs, but I don't know if they're a 95-win team or a 90-win team.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I get your disappointment, though. I get your frustration because this team has not done anything to help themselves, and they're just stuck feeling bad for themselves. The last thing I'll say about it, I think I said it on the podcast this week, feels like the Phillies are in quicksand, and they just are watching themselves in it, but they're not trying to get themselves out. They're just sinking. Like, they're not even trying to get out, making it worse. It's just a slow death. And it feels like they're wasting a lot of these players' time. They're wasting their own time. They're wasting Middleton's money. And they're wasting us, the fans, fandom. I mean, it's not fair to us. It's not a good product. So we'll see. Hopefully, like Chris said, hopefully it's a smoke screen and they have something else up their sleeve. Speaking of up the sleeve, well, that's what the NFL had planned for the Philadelphia Eagles now getting into the NFC Beast, NFC East Gauntlet ahead. Yes. So the last 3 games are against the Commanders, Cowboys, and Giants. We go down to FedEx Field, I believe. It might have a different name now, but whatever it is, the shitty Commanders Field. We're headed down there. Going to go beat the Commanders' ass this Sunday at 1 o'clock, which we'll get into a preview here in a second. But then after that, we have the Giants, who we play, or I'm sorry, the Cowboys, the 29th at home, which is going to be an insane tailgate. We'll be tailgating that game. So if you guys are not doing anything, come hang out for it. It'll be a lot of fun. I know Dennis will be there and a ton of other people on the podcast, but Dennis is making the trip up. So that'll be dope. And Nolan, who does our graphics now. So that's going to be insane. But we have that game at home. That's going to be an insane atmosphere. And then after that, we have our last game of the year to be determined when that will be. Hopefully it's a Saturday game, as my fingers crossed, because Philadelphia is going to get fucking rowdy. First season ever, we would have a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday football game for Eagles fans. Not all being home because they played one in Brazil, but still different. But hopefully they'll have that game on a Saturday night at the Link. Would go hard. My question to you, Chris, and I'll let you take it first, and the fans, anybody in the comments, I'm sorry we can't post your comments because we're not recording live, but let us know still in the comments. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Little things mean a ton. But Chris, as the Eagles get into the NFC East Gauntlet, do you think that they will sweep the NFC East for the first time since 2004?
No, I think they're going to lose the last game. I think it's going to be a meaningless game at the end of the year. So I don't think they're going to try against the Giants. And I actually hope the Giants beat them in the last game of the year, so the Giants have a worse draft pick. But I think they're going to have that 2 seed locked up. I don't think they're going to be able to quite get that 1 seed. But it's not going to be because they're not trying, not because they lost the game. It's going to be because Tanner McKee or Kenny Pickett is going to be the quarterback, and they're going to rest all the starters. But I don't like how you put gauntlet here because I don't think it's much of a gauntlet. It's like they're not really playing anybody that good besides this Washington game. So I think this Washington game is going to be a telltale sign. I feel like we've said every single game's been a test. But it's almost like, okay, this is another test. Could you back up what you just did last week? But I think they're just in a good spot right now. They're playing really well. They're playing really well offensively and defensively. But I don't think this is much of a gauntlet. So we'll see.
I love it. Chris said, fuck it. He said, we're coming for you. I'll say this. I hope that they can complete it because it would be pretty cool if they're able to sweep all the teams. I'll say this. It would shut the fuck up of a lot of Cowboys, Giants, Commanders fans about who's daddy really in the NFC East, especially if the Eagles go out and win the Super Bowl. They have a lot at stake. But like Chris said, I mean, that's pretty much every game for the Eagles now. We've been saying it for a couple weeks. Every game is a trap game. Every game they have a lot to lose, and every game seems to be the biggest moment, the biggest game of the year. And I think that for the Eagles, they're in a pretty good spot where they're going to come out of this after relying on the run game. I think that they're going to rely on the run game these last 3 games. And it's not going to be just Saquon Barkley. I'll say a hot take that Will Shipley will go out and get his first touchdown in one of these last 3 games. I said it on 302 Birds this week. I want this team and the younger guys specifically to start getting their heels under them before the playoffs. I want them to be confident, be ready, be primed so that when they're in the playoffs, they're not, I'm not expecting them all to be Saquon Barkley. But what I'm saying is I want them to at least have NFL experience, NFL touches, have the feeling of scoring a touchdown or getting a first down so that it's not all new to them. And then you have one of those horrible plays, right? We've seen it countless times where Caleb Williams is the most recent example of unaware. But, a wide receiver goes down the field and is dancing around. And because they're dancing and they don't have time to snap the ball, you end up losing the game. So just with the younger guys, and it's nothing against them, it's just the nature of football. I want them to have some experience for some of that stuff so that there's no room for error. This is the 3rd time. 3rd time is the charm. We need to get it right this time. And Eagles fans know that. The team knows that. The fans know that. The media knows that. Everybody knows that. There is a lot at stake, not just for the team, but for the fans too, because everybody's going to start labeling the Eagles as frauds if they end up, going out 14-3 or 15-2, like it's looking like, I'm hoping. And then they end up losing the first or second round of the playoffs. They at least need to be in the Super Bowl, I think, to make us happy. And probably to make me and Chris happy because we're crazy, they need to win it. So a lot at stake.
Yeah, and to that Shipley point there, Kenneth Gainwell's a free agent at the end of the year. So, you kind of want to get Shipley in that backup running back role a little bit, make sure he's got his feet underneath him a little bit. So they use Kenny Gainwell a lot. So to have that, I don't think they're going to go sign another running back, but for a guy who's got 60 attempts this year, that's a decent amount for a running back to give Shipley. So yeah, play some of the younger guys. I'd like to see Keely Ringo out there more. I know he's made some boneheaded moves, but I think you got to figure out who's that other outside corner once Slay's gone, which could be this offseason. I don't know. And maybe a little bit more Sidney Brown, even though he seemed a little iffy the last couple of weeks. But yeah, and maybe some Jeremiah Trotter. So I hope they wrap this game, they wrap up this division this week, and then you can see them rotate through some of these players. I think it's going to depend if they really want to try to go for that number 1 seed or not. But I think there's a lot has to happen for them to actually get that 1 seed, even if they win out. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
We'll see for sure. But headed into the last game, Eagles are going down to Washington. Such a bad stadium, a bad atmosphere. How do you think that this game's going to play? Do you think that the Commanders could get the best of the Eagles, or you think that the Eagles should kick the Commanders' ass?
I think they should kick their ass, but I think it's going to be another one of those close games where it seems like every single time they play the Commanders, it's a close game, and it comes down to the final couple minutes of the game. So I expect more of the same. It's going to be interesting to see if Saquon's back to Saquon this week, or if it's they're going to just try to stop him and we'll try to throw. I think the defense just needs to keep doing what the defense does. I do kind of expect Quinyon Mitchell to get beat a little bit by McLaurin this time because I think he's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder from the last game. So we'll see. We'll see how they do. But I think it should be a win. I think it's going to be a 21-17 type win, but we'll see.
It's going to be a competitive game. Anytime we played the Commanders in the past couple of years, it's been competitive games. I think that the Commanders are finally starting to become a legitimate NFL franchise, a respectable NFL franchise. For the longest time because of their ownership groups and just where they've been. They haven't been able to been competitive. They haven't been up to par with what they should do. So commanding excellence is what Commanders fans are hoping that their team will do because they're trying to still sneak into the playoffs too. And at the beginning of the year, it's really funny because a lot of people were saying, oh, the Commanders could be in the Super Bowl, all this and that. They're having such a great year. Jaden Daniels, Rookie of the Year. I think Jaden Daniels still could be the Rookie of the Year. He's a phenomenal football player. As an Eagles fan, that's the kind of player that makes you scared. But I'll say they kind of fell off momentum-wise. They were really hot as the season started, and we saw that with a couple other NFC teams. Saints didn't, go as far. That firework didn't have as much juice, but they still tried. The Commanders are somewhere in a similar ship where it's like, okay, they started off hot and now they're kind of just fizzling out and it wasn't what they thought. If you want to compare the Eagles to a firework, they're a fucking missile nuclear star, fucking supersonic missile that hasn't lost any sort of momentum. That thing's just boom, they're going. Because Saquon Barkley's like that, the way he's played all year. So in this game, I expect Saquon Barkley to have a really good game. I'll go out and say this. Saquon Barkley could have a 200-yard game this game. I know that may sound crazy to some people, but I feel like in the Eagles locker room, they're talking about it right now, and they're like, hey, if you want this record, let's just go for all of it this game. Let's make it a boy or a girl after this game. Let's figure out if you're either going to go for this record the rest of the season and we're going to break it because it's like not far away and we feel like it's not too far out of reach that we're going to get you injured. Or on the flip side, we're going to say, let's hold off. It's too far out. And I think that depends on if he has a 200-yard game, they're going to go for it. They're going to go for the record and he's going to break Dickerson's record. If he doesn't have a 200-yard game, if he's somewhere in like the threshold of 80 to 100 yards, I think that they're just going to rest him because that's the smarter thing for them to do as a team. So we'll see. But I think that they're going to give him the ball a minimum of 25 times. What he does with it, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to force it unless they have to. If the Commanders go all out, stack the box like the Steelers did, there's no reason to force running him. Just throw the football to the best wide receiver in football, in A.J. Brown, and win that way. So I hope that Nick is smart enough to do that now, where it's like, okay, you don't need to do that, and Saquon will get his at the end of the game when you're already up, and you can just kind of run the clock down, and they've been abused. So yeah, I think Saquon will get around 20 touches again, maybe 25, 30. So we'll see. I think it all depends on if the Commanders are stopping him. If they can't stop him, he's going to get the ball. He's going to get the ball, and he's going to break that record. I think if the Commanders are going to try to go all out and try to stop him, go ahead. But I don't think that's the way you can stop the Eagles. I think you got to kind of play both if you try to stop the Eagles. And even at that, I don't know if they can. So it's going to be a close game still. I think it's probably going to be a pretty cold game. I haven't checked the weather, but probably if it's a cold, windy type game, those are the tough ones for Jalen. He don't play too well in those ones, but we'll see how he does this week.
I think it's either going to be, like you said, Jalen has hopefully a good game too. I'd be fine with that. Hopefully Jalen Hurts has a 300-yard passing game. That would be dope. I'd be okay with that. We've seen some of the catches that A.J. Brown has had on the Commanders, that one-handed one in the end zone a couple years ago that was Spider-Man-esque. But we could also see on the flip side, like I said, Saquon Barkley having a big game. So which way will it go? We'll see. We'll find out. But I'm hopeful that for this Eagles offense, they're gonna kick ass and take names. I hope that Dallas Goedert gets some confidence. I want to see him get into the end zone. And that's the nice thing about the Eagles offense. Usually in games that Saquon Barkley or A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith break out, Dallas Goedert has a chance to break out either way. I think he will. So should be a good game. Let us know what your guys' score predictions are in the comments. Sorry, what were you saying?
Goddard back?
I think he should be coming back soon. I don't know if he'll be back this game, actually. I got to check on that. But I need him to get some confidence going in the playoffs, especially then. Just because coming back from injury, I want him to get some of that mojo. Not that Calcaterra has been playing bad either. I think that the Eagles have kind of figured out, okay, maybe we don't need to look at drafting a backup tight end because Calcaterra has sort of that roadmap to growth. He's been playing really well. But commanding excellence, we'll see. Let us know in the comments. Like I said, your guys' score predictions. Chris, what's your score prediction?
21-27. I think the Eagles squeak it out late.
All right, I'll go something similar. I'm going to say 29-25, and same thing. Eagles get a late touchdown to win the game. It's a nail-biter, but at this point in the season, every game's a nail-biter, and the Commanders are still a respectable organization. If, God forbid, there's a Christmas miracle, and if I decide to go, which I'm not going to, you have my word on it now, whatever, if we did, we would announce it on our Instagram. Other than that, though, we'll be there next Sunday for the Cowboys game, tailgating. So if any of you guys want to meet up with us, hang out with us, tailgate, all that good stuff, come say what's up. Shoot us a message on Instagram. Let us know you're coming ahead of time so we can get an extra cheesesteak roll for you. But that's all I got. Chris, you got anything?
Fuck Dave Dombrowski.
You guys should have seen Chris before the show when they announced it. He was, and understandably so, the Phillies are his team, as upset as can be. I mean, he was super excited before the show. It killed his vibe. Yeah, like you were super excited, and then his face just dropped as soon as he got the news. He's like, motherfucker, you could see. So thanks a lot, Phillies. Thanks a lot. Damn it, fuckers. All Chris wants for Christmas is a big free agent signing. And I know he's not the only guy. So
it's not even that. I just want some change. I want something different. We're doing the same damn thing. Go fuck yourself, Dombrowski. You'll make me cry.
It is insanity, man. You're right. Doing the same thing over and over and over again. But that's all we got for you guys. I guess this is actually our Christmas show. So to everybody, have a Merry Christmas. Please be safe. Enjoy your time with your family. And we will see you next Saturday, I believe, on the 28th. If not, we'll pre-record. We'll have something for you. I don't see any reason why we won't be here. And if we aren't, we'll let you know. But we'll be back next week. Go Birds.